Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 3 of Quips N Sips.
I'm John.
I'm DJ, and thanks for joining us. So today, what we're going to start off with, today's highlighted drink, I'm going to actually let John kind of take over on this one. And this is a hand-picked selection from him that I'm actually quite intrigued and excited about. So, John, why don't you tell us a little bit about your discovery?
Well, it's called Zabuni Coffee. What it is, it's a local coffee roaster here in our town. If you look it up, we're in Grand Island, Nebraska. It's hard to deny that because Zabuni is just here in Nebraska, in Grand Island. Basically, what it is a husband and wife team that back in 2012, some farmers from Kenya reached out to them for help. They wanted to make their lives better. They wanted to have a living wage, and they just weren't getting it through the channels the normal channels that were established. So Laban and Cora of Zabuni Coffee, they started reaching out to different places, and somehow they landed on Grand Island, Nebraska, and with work through the the Grand Island Convention, Economic Development Corporation. They were able to find a spot. It's actually directly across the street from my dad's shop here in our little town here. I stopped in there the other day. I knew that I wanted to try it on our show. I hadn't ever tried it before. Basically, what they started out to do was just to be an auction house for these coffee growers that wanted to have a better life for themselves. But they do have a small roasting facility inside the office there. But DJ was asking me, well, is it a shop, or can you go in there and buy stuff? And yeah, they have a stand of some of the different varieties of coffee, but their main focus is distribution, being kind of a main hub for some other roasters. Their primary function is as an auction house. But we have a sample today of Kenya Bingwa. It's supposed to be
say that 3 times fast.
Kenya Bingwa. Kenya Bingwa. But it's all from the Central Highlands, I guess, of Kenya. And so it's supposed to be fruity. It's supposed to taste like tea and something like baker's chocolate. You can smell it. I just love the smell of this.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
So, okay, this was roasted on about a week ago. So they actually roasted this in Grand Island about a week ago, and I just picked it up on Friday, so like 3 days ago, and they ground it while I was there. So we're gonna go ahead and try it. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
I've been looking forward to this.
I want to get some ASMR real quick, just for that one last sniff.
Yeah.
Oh, that is just phenomenal.
Right?
That is great.
It smells really nutty. It's a very heavy nutty taste.
It smells nutty. You can smell the chocolate though. That's what's weird. Like, it does actually have a chocolatey smell to it.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
That being said,
yes, sir.
Man, my handy dandy cat mug and John's handy dandy.
I really need a day between Saturday and Sunday. And being as how we work on Saturday, that makes sense.
It does make sense.
All right, let's see what this is.
Cheers.
That's sweet.
Oh, that is good.
That's really good.
You don't even need cream or sugar for this.
No.
That is great. I mean, I'm honestly not usually like a black coffee guy, but I could drink this all day.
It's not bitter at all.
No.
There's no bitterness to it.
That is so good, guys. I can't emphasize that enough. Like, not just because it's on the show. It really is. That is some of the best coffee I've ever had.
I can see where the
down.
fruitiness and the tea come from. I'm not really getting a whole lot of the chocolate from the flavor of it, but I did smell it in the aroma. But yeah, it's kind of a light, airy, sort of like a tea.
Right. It's not really like a thick coffee by any means. It's not real dark or nothing, but just the flavor is absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, it's cozy.
It's almost kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. I'm used to drinking some of the mainstream brews like Folgers and stuff, but
great value.
yeah. This is good. It's really a unique flavor, but it is great.
Yeah, and you do pay a premium for it. I was a little bit shocked in the price of it, but if you want to try it, I believe they sell it on their website, but you can pick some up. But yeah, it wasn't cheap, but
it was not good. Cheap, but 110% worth it.
And I believe 80% of the proceeds actually go to the farmers themselves. So it's definitely giving back to the people that put in the work. That's what I like about it. Ethically traded, sustainably sourced. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Highly recommended. Definitely check out Zabuni Coffee. Give them a shot. Shop locally. I mean, that's a really, really big thing.
Yeah, if you have a local roaster too, see if they have a similar deal where they get the coffee direct from the farmers, and if they have, I wonder if there's like a network of coffee suppliers or coffee roasters that have similar standards or similar values. I know there's a list of actual producers or roasters on here, I believe.
Yeah, and while you're looking that up, I just want to get the viewers here. So on the back of the coffee, they got a neat little display, or a phrase, I should say, that I think is pretty powerful for being a really small town company. I'm just going to read that real quick. So it says, Zabuni is not just about great coffee. It's about the people, communities, families, and friends here and at the coffee origins thousands of miles away. Our mission is to connect the small family farms growing the world's best hand-picked coffees with roasteries and coffee shops across America, empowering farmers through direct trade relationships that provide fairness and a just wage. When you drink Zabuni coffee, you are not only getting an exceptional sensory experience, you are supporting ethical trade, sustainable sourcing, and drinking specialty coffee roasted with love. Enjoy. That's got a signature there from the owners, Laban and Cora. But it's just... little touches like that are really, really nice, because it gives you a little bit more of a hometown special feel. Yeah. That you're not just getting the coffee just to get coffee as part of your mundane routine. This is something that's helping other people grow their businesses and helping them more or less live, and it's not a whole bunch of genetically modified crap. It's sustainably sourced. It's ethically traded, which is always good. You don't got to worry about any wayfarer trafficking. So I think that's phenomenal, and the fact that the owners would go to the effort as part of the design to go in and put on like their own signatures. I think it's a really big statement for a business owner to officially go and sign their name on the products they have. I mean, that's really standing behind what it is that you're saying and what your mission statement is. Jimmy Dean. Or Bush's Beans.
Right, yeah.
But yeah. And on that, kind of on that note, so as far as the product for the day, that kind of went hand in hand with our article. That's kind of why I had John touch a little bit on that, just so you kind of knew the backstory on that, because to us, that's news. That's something unique and important that not a lot of people know. It's one thing for us to just bring the product on here, but it's another that it's a product that also has a story.
Right.
So that's really, really big. God, hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, I totally forgot to shut off the energy saver.
Oh. Good call.
Screen started going to sleep. We'll cut that out.
Okay.
Alright, where was I? Fuck. Okay.
You want to rewind it a little bit and catch up?
No, it's all good.
Okay.
So, okay, sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Camera started shutting off on us. But, no, what I was saying is we kind of put the article and the product 2 in 1. And to piggyback that, so today's topic I actually haven't pre-discussed with John already. I'm just going to drop a bomb on him.
I'm coming in blind, folks.
I wanted it to be kind of all in one. So today's topic I want to touch on is I want to discuss a little bit about...
Entrepreneurship.
Well, in a way, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Entrepreneurship and more so small businesses
was...
in today's world.
Right.
Is it easier for businesses? Do they seem to gain more? Do they lose more? You know, what are some of the big differences, and where are we at currently?
Yeah, and you and I have talked about entrepreneurship before. We've thrown around ideas, obviously, just working together and just shooting the crap, as they say. They say other things.
Shooting the birds,
right? But we've both had our ideas of what we'd like to do and things we'd consider, and maybe some of them will come to fruition, maybe some of them won't. But as it stands now, I have you and I have talked. You've tried different things. You've tried starting businesses. I've tried starting businesses. Pretty much to no avail on my end. I'm not sure how you stand on some of your stuff, but is that kind of where you were wanting to head, or what?
Yeah, because I mean, for starters, if you're gonna start a business, establish credit. That is a big thing. Establish credit. Credit is important in today's world.
Very much.
Now that phrase is also kind of part of what I'm touching on as far as the differences between the two.
It's not always.
It's not always required.
It's not always a key factor. It's not always. There are things you can do to start a business where you don't have to incur debt or don't have to take on capital or do venture capitaling or anything like that. But yeah, for the most part, if you're gonna start a business, you either need product, you need space, you need tools. There's things that you're going to need that you probably don't have the money for. If you've saved for it, good job. You've done better than me.
And me. Now, the most important thing, and I cannot emphasize this enough, the most important thing, be it becoming an entrepreneur, starting your own business, starting a career, starting your very first job, the biggest thing I can tell you to have, hold on, I'm gonna get closer just so this is clear. Knowledge.
You're gonna blow out this.
Knowledge. That's the most important thing. Knowledge, research, study. Know what you're talking about.
Right. And in today's world, of course, obviously this is on YouTube. YouTube has so much knowledge base. There's other things like Skillshare. We accept sponsorships.
We do accept sponsorships.
But yeah, there's Skillshare. There's all sorts of resources. There's community colleges. There's online schools. There's plenty of ways to get education if you don't have it already.
And there really is a bunch of free stuff.
There is, yeah.
I think, I touched on it on another episode, but, it's the diuretic.
We may have to take a potty break later.
No, but, like even for me, for right now, one of the skill sets I'm trying to improve on is my digital marketing. Right. So, a couple things I'm looking into. There's a ton of different Google certification courses. Me, right now in particular, I'm working on my Google Analytics. There's a plethora that they do as far as Google goes. HubSpot's got certification. Moz, they have different certifications for stuff like doing your SEO training, coding, Skill Crush. Skill Crush is amazing. If you guys haven't checked it out, check it out. The owner of the company, her name is Ada. They're doing webinars all the time.
Is her last name Lovelace?
It is not Lovelace.
Dang it.
But tons and tons of great content on there. And the actual courses are actually pretty good too. But and the one thing that was really neat for me is kind of like what we said in episode 0. You know how we really enjoy having feedback from from the broadcaster. Like in the webinars that I was in, I had 3-4 different times where I typed in a question or something in the webinar, and they genuinely responded to my specific question.
Oh, really? So this was live interaction with the creator. Okay, cool.
Which is phenomenal. It's that kind of stuff's really good, especially in this day and age where we got COVID to worry about, and it seems like cost of everything has always gone up. It's good having a free resource available that you can get that kind of input.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you dabbled in anything like that at all.
Not as far as I have had a podcast before that I put in probably 8 episodes worth, but so much legwork on the back end. It was a music podcast, and just trying to gather all the information and all the sourcing for that. But you're right, a lot of it is in the website development and in the SEO side of things, the search engine optimization, keywords, linking from one site to another, making sure that all your formatting of your websites is navigatable.
Yeah, and you make it all click.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be a one-stop shop. Any of that kind of stuff. I mean, let's be honest. Most businesses nowadays are mainly digital, mainly online.
Right.
So, delegate. Get with some like-minded individuals who aspire to grow and are, have a like mind or have a similar outlook, so to speak.
And a lot of that stuff can be outsourced too. It doesn't have to be just you. If you don't have confidence in building a website, if you don't have confidence in making a logo for yourself or artwork for your website, you can go on, like I've used Fiverr before, and I've had some quality logos made for very little money, and everybody benefits. You're helping out an individual, whether they're on the other side of the world or not, wherever they are, you're helping them out in the process, helping them get more established. And the more work that they do on Fiverr, the more that they can grow their business, and they can start charging more fees if there's good reviews from people that are using their services. So you can have website builders, you can have somebody making your theme music, you can have there are plenty of stock photo websites where photographers, again, just individuals going out, taking photos and uploading them to stock photo websites so that you can use them. And there's websites like that for music creators and digital artists, and you can go on there and build what you want, or use the artistry of others to build your brand as well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and that's a really, really good point. Because it takes a lot of load off.
Yeah.
Being able to do that, you don't feel like you're going into it alone.
Right.
I mean, in theory, you are, but when you have, things within your business that you can delegate to other people, that makes a big difference. Now, that being said, for you, we got a little bit of an age gap. It's nothing crazy, but just from even when you were a kid, how would you say that today's process of being a business owner would differ from when you were a kid?
When I was a kid, well, my dad owns his own business. My granddad owned his own business. So it's kind of almost second nature to have that mindset. Like, I want to make a business. I want to have that freedom to make my own schedule or do all this. There's a lot of responsibilities that comes with that. Don't get me wrong, but there is some sort of freedom when it comes to that. But yeah, my dad, he's been a clockmaker for since I was 2 years old. Yeah. And I say clockmaker, he repairs clocks. He doesn't actually like build them from nothing. He repairs and fixes electric clocks and wind-up clocks. He doesn't do watches, though.
Now, see, that was an odd coincidence, though. So we found out when John started working at the dealership that we're at. So my grandpa, he grew up and his dad was a jeweler, and he grew up working on watches and clocks and stuff. So when I grew up, that's other than selling cars, working on watches and stuff, that was his thing. So he did. I've seen the man take a pocket watch, and you can think of how small the gears and nuts and everything are.
But you said he was a jeweler too, to an extent.
See, that's what Grandpa had said. I believe he was just same concept, working on watches and stuff. Oh, okay. But I'd always heard jeweler. I need to delve deeper, get some more backstory.
There's lingo that goes into it that might come into play, like whether a jeweler is actually a watchmaker or whatever that.
Right,
it could be one and the same.
A lot of different terminology that kind of means the same thing, but no. But yeah, so for what he did, I mean, I watched him take an entire watch apart, piece by piece, gear by gear, put it all back together again.
We used to take clock like the movement of a clock and just bang on them with a hammer. My brother and I. Yeah, we had like a chunk of metal about that big. Just set it on there and whack at it with a hammer. That's what we did for fun.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and actually, Grandpa brought a couple of pieces to your dad. I remember he brought a few pieces for your dad to work on. Then you go pick it up.
And you had a customer also that the guy that my dad learned how to fix clocks from actually came and bought a vehicle from you. Well, we both kind of worked with him a little bit, but he had some nice things to say about my dad and his dad working together. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, it's crazy just how small of a world that is, too.
Yeah.
But, no, back on the topic, though, of, like...
Sure. Creating
old small business owners. Now, as far as the ease... So do you think it's easier now than it was then?
I think both times have their benefits and their drawbacks, because when you're back in the day, everybody needed bread, and you would have a baker in town. You didn't get bread shipped in to you. Of course, that was before my time. Obviously, I'm not that old.
I'm not that old,
but
kind of like milk.
Well, yeah. You can still go to a farm and pick up fresh milk if you want to, but the more common thing is just to get it from the store. Obviously, that's a no-brainer. But
there's an idea. We get farm fresh milk next time.
Farm fresh milk.
Raw fresh milk on Quips.
Are we doing raw milk?
I don't know, man.
I've heard it's good.
That's that. We'll save that.
We'll save
that for a different time. I'm gonna let that one digest.
We'll put a pin in it.
Yeah.
Let that one digest. Is that what you said?
Yeah, we're gonna let that one digest.
I don't know if we can.
Oh. I'm not lactose intolerant.
You sure? You might be after that.
I'm pretty sure. I love ice cream.
I don't know. I've heard good things about raw milk, but we're not getting off on a tangent on raw milk.
Right.
But
back to the task at hand.
If you like raw milk, or if you're a raw milk producer, we accept sponsorships.
We do accept sponsorships.
Can we have raw milk sponsorship?
I don't know. It's worth a shot. We'll find out. If anything, if you produce raw milk, or if you have something that you would like for us to try on the show, slap it down in the comments. Shoot us a DM. Let us know. We'd be more than happy to showcase it on here. Anything odd, out of the ordinary, or otherwise, that's what we're all about.
Right. Your blackberry wine.
Yes.
If you have
your grandmother's jalapeno strawberry jam recipe.
Well, that's not a drink.
It could be. No, it couldn't. I lied. It couldn't be. But it sounds good. I'm shotgunning. Anywho, getting back
we
on
could
track
probably shotgun something too.
Oh, gross. Gross. I don't even want to think about that. Let's just shotgun some strawberry jalapeno jelly.
Just break the jar.
Oh, man.
All right. No, anyway, this is getting way off topic.
But you were saying, talking about
so
the expenses and stuff, or how different it is. Yes, similar.
Well, back in the day, before there was so much globalization of industry, you had certain people doing certain jobs in your community. Instead of going on Amazon and buying I don't know what you'd buy, but
whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever you want to buy.
Except people. Don't buy people.
That's for Wayfair.
Yeah, that's for Wayfair.
Right.
Don't take that from
Not off Amazon.
It's not off Amazon. Jeff Bezos is not about that.
Right.
In front of closed doors.
Right. If you want to purchase children, do it legally.
Oh God. Oh God. Anywho,
that's another topic for another day.
Yeah.
So you'd have a local blacksmith, you'd have a local butcher, you'd have local mechanics. Like, of course, you have local mechanics now, but it's more of a large business, a large scale thing. The days of small shop mechanics, I mean, they're still pretty alive, but I think that those are kind of a lot fewer and far between, and there's a lot more hoops to jump through now. But there's services like hairstylists and caterers and things like that. Those are more services that are immediate. Those are ones that you have a need for now, and it's not really something you can really farm out to far off places like you can with building your iPhone or your
you can't really outsource it that much.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's like one thing I've noticed a lot of is like trade jobs. Trade jobs have really started to like take a steep decline. It seems like, back in the day, it was a lot more prevalent to have stuff like that. You had your construction workers, right. You had your carpenters, whatever. There was a lot of skilled trades out there. Mm-hmm. Now, there's so much it's either being automated or generalized or otherwise. There's either people not doing it, or it's just stuff that has been outsourced to some form of technology or something like that. And even like it seems to me, like I'm going to go ahead and say it, a lot of the generation just does not have the work ethic like the older generations did.
Right.
Just because I think a lot of it has to do with the technology of things. We have, as a society, it seems like we've gotten lazy over the years.
Can confirm.
And it's just, they don't like to work like that. I mean, I grew up, my stepdad owned a masonry business. I mean, for, most of my childhood, I was helping my stepdad go and mix mortar and lay bricks and lay stone. Yeah. And, I've went on and I've done construction. I've worked in the food industry. I've had a whole variety of stuff that I've tried.
Yeah.
But I also got a different work ethic than most. I've met plenty of people now that'll start a job, work there for, could be a week, could be a month, and they'll be like, oh my God, I hate this job, and then leave. It's, well, pump the brakes. Hold on. What do you mean?
Yeah, they almost don't have a reason to be there, or they think that they can just skate by. I know I'm not that talented at a lot of things. I've tried drywall. I've been a cleaning crew for Paul Davis Restoration, so going and gutting buildings and tearing down walls and cleaning out mold and stuff like that. And I've done technical jobs where I've been an architectural drafter, which is much more my speed. I'm not the physical labor. I can do it, and I don't give up on it, but I'm not that skilled at it. So
it's not your forte,
right? Yeah, and I think that's kind of what you're getting at, is the stick-to-itiveness of a lot of people.
Having a craft.
Well, I think just being able to stay with something for a decent amount of time is a benefit. Like, I know that I can stay with a job for an extended period of time, whether I like it or not. I know that I'm capable of doing that.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. There are people they'll get there and they'll say, "Oh, I don't want to do this," and either not do the work and just be there for the paycheck and then get canned later on, or they'll just go home halfway through the day. Or I've seen
some people just don't care.
Yeah, I've seen all sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of that. No matter what industry that you're in, you're going to see a heavy mix. It's just even like my customer that's a master goldsmith, right? He's trained both of his sons. They're both master goldsmiths. Phenomenal quality. It's really impressive. And he's just a really down-to-earth, heartfelt guy. And that's something that was like special to me just because that's kind of the way that I was raised to be. And, that's something me and him kind of sat and discussed about. The younger generation just does not seem to be like that.
Right.
As far as learning kind of like what he did, a craft from start to finish and putting in years and years of time to really perfect it. And it's like, take a look at the process of fine jewelry sometime and look at the amount of time and energy and actual like fine craftsmanship it really does take.
Right.
It's a lot of the, mass-produced crap that's coming from China for Zales and Ks and everything else. That's just, all machine-made, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But if you look at, something actually custom handmade by a jeweler, it is just gorgeous. The amount of intricate detail you will never, ever be able to fully embrace or be able to appreciate until you get a chance to actually look at it real close. And if I remember right, on the topic of jewelers, if you go in, I do believe that depending on where you go, certain jewelers will let you go back to like see the workbench and stuff, or actually, see some of the pieces up really, really close. If you get a chance to do that, I recommend it. It's an artistic masterpiece. It's something beautiful, beautiful to see. But stuff like that.
Like the in-between stages of where a piece starts, with a wax mold and then into a plastic
wax
cast,
mold, your
and
cast,
then, and then pouring the gold.
They pour that, then they do the initial polish, they do your stone setting, they do another polish, they get it all cleaned. It's a pretty thorough process.
Yeah. So again, that's stuff you can farm out to China or Venezuela or something like that. But you're not going to have the attention to detail. They're just mass producing this stuff as they go along. But where the entrepreneurship comes in is having that quality, the hands-on care and attention to detail that's really makes people happy, that brings the joy, and just knowing the amount of work and the amount of care that went into a piece like that brings a lot of value to it also.
Oh yeah, and that's what makes the special pieces special. Let's be honest, people aren't just buying jewelry for kicks and giggles most times.
Right.
The majority is purchased for weddings, anniversaries, special events, birthdays, children. When you really think about it, sure, you're going to probably spend a couple $100 cheaper for something mass produced. Yeah. But if you look at it in comparison, when Christmas time comes around, are you buying your kids gifts from, the name brand stores, or are you going to the Dollar Tree and getting them 20 for 20? Right. I mean, you pay for what you get, and you will appreciate, getting the actual true craftsmanship of it. It's 100% worth it.
One of the interesting trends that I'm seeing, and it does go into kind of farming out some of your gift giving or whatever, some of the work, but where people are having their pets or their kids or their loved ones painted into a portrait, like the goofy, like when a general's uniform or something like that. I mean, it's fun and it's quirky and it's neat, but it's something that's handmade, that's quality. Well, I think they're handmade anyway. I don't know. I mean, it could be.
I think I know what you're talking about, where you can take like a past relative or something and get them painted into a portrait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking into that. I was going to get one myself, and from what I can tell, they do have a team of artists that do hand make it.
Oh, really?
So what you do is you go in, they have you upload, 1 or 2 photos, depending on how you're doing it, of the loved one, and then if you want any family in there, they'll have you put the pictures on there, and then that gets sent to the artist. So it's not one of those where, you'll upload your pictures and get a, preview template of the thing.
Okay.
That it actually, once it actually goes through, the artist draws everything up. You tell them your specifications of what you want, and they hand paint it for you.
That's cool.
You can even pick the kind of paint you want. You can do like your oils, your acrylic, watercolor. Really? Yeah, you can pick it. They do like sketches. It's amazing.
Huh. Also, utilitarian pieces. Kind of shifting gears here a little bit, but I've seen a few videos recently where one of them was a coppersmith that's in the United States, but he got a pot, or his wife got a copper pot, and she said, "Can you fix this for me?" It was all nasty inside, and he went online and researched how to fix and restore the copper pot. It was just a saucepan. But he cleaned it up, he polished it, he retinned the inside, and he re-riveted the handles, and he really enjoyed it. I think the dude was even like a doctor or a lawyer, like some actual like well-paying profession, but he liked doing the coppersmithing so much that he decided to do that instead. So he just switched completely to becoming a coppersmith, and he got these big machines, and he's not only restoring old pieces, but he's actually making new pieces in the same style as the older copper pieces. It's really, really neat. And but one of the things that he did that I thought was really cool. So he had found a brand of copperware, copper pots, and the patent on them had expired. The copyright on the name had expired, and he actually bought the name of this old company, and he's actually producing pieces in the same name as the old company in the same style. Yeah. And he actually got in touch with some of the people, the family of the original company owners, and they were so pleased and just tickled that he would think to include them in the process and share it with them and just not necessarily profits, but just the joy of knowing that the brand was still alive.
No kidding.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's really cool.
That's awesome.
So there's that sort of utilitarian stuff. There's one of the arts that's kind of making somewhat of a comeback is blacksmithing, whether it's knife making or the artist blacksmith community. So I don't know how much of a comeback that the artist blacksmith community's seeing, or even architectural blacksmiths. But I know knife makers are coming back due to like shows like Forged in Fire. So that's neat to see people actually taking an interest in having that kind of a craft.
Like my cousin Jimmy. I have a kukri upstairs that he made out of a truck
you were telling me about that.
Yeah. It's little stuff like that. I mean, even between like the two examples you just gave, you know, you think about the uniqueness and the quality of the stuff that you get from these people. It really shows the power of small business when you think about it.
Yeah.
You know, it's really easy to get off and, you know, only think solely on like the big name businesses and stick with the mainstream, but you'd be amazed at the kind of stuff you really find out there with some of these, you know, small businesses. People start up and work their butts off and really make some phenomenal product.
There's a you can get a Nebraska passport that has a bunch of different places, businesses that you can go to, and it has a lot of those on it, like whether it's like we went to a glass blowing studio one time, and a pottery studio, and just seeing that stuff still being made in the area by local artists, and it's nice to know that those are not dead yet.
Oh yeah.
And it's nice to know that you can go and support them. And so there may be stuff like that in your area too. If you've got a local, like a convention and visitors bureau, see if there's a program like that for your town or your state, your local area. The convention and visitors bureaus are, or the what's the not Better Business Bureau. Anyway, just the local business communities around you can, if you've got questions or if you want to see if there's something like that, just jump on their websites and see. Depending
on the size of the business, maybe Better Business Bureau, but I think that's normally like larger businesses and corporations.
Yeah, what was the one that they did for Zabuni?
Good question. But all in all, you know, as far as what it takes to run a business, in a one-word yes or no answer, do you think it was easier for businesses to get started in the past than it is now?
Do I think it's easier for them to get started in the past as it is now? No. So I do think it's easier for businesses to have started it in the past. I think it's a little harder now. I know that's more than one word.
No, that's fine. I'm not going to beat you up on it.
But yeah, I think it's harder for businesses to start now. Granted, you've got a longer reach now.
And a lot more available.
Correct.
A lot of resources.
Right. Resources, parts, materials. There's
just information in general.
Training.
The internet took kind of the business startup and blew it up. There's so much access now. Pretty much anything that you want to do, you clickety clack on Google and you got answers to a lot of your questions.
But is it easier to start a business? I don't think so. I think it was more necessary to start a business in the past than it is now. I think it was more common for people to have a business, or at least a side business, back in the day.
It's the American dream.
But
be a business owner, have the house with a white picket fence.
Right. But during this weird season where people are stuck at home, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of people making their own T-shirts.
Yeah.
The
a lot of everything.
The Yeti mugs, the resin coated Yeti mugs are everywhere.
Or have you seen? Brady's been all up on this. Is the the hot chocolate bombs.
Oh, yeah.
Hot chocolate bombs are huge right now. Or photographers, a bunch of photography. Everybody's just gotten really creative. In a lot of ways, you know, don't get me wrong, the quarantine and COVID and everything kind of sucks, but I think it's been kind of an eye-opening experience, especially in terms of today's topic with small businesses. I think that's really given a lot of people some time for creativity, and a lot of people have come together, like you said, and they've started doing stuff like that, you know, making t-shirts, making masks, making hot chocolate bombs, making soaps. It's some of the stuff that's coming out right now is just awesome. Even stuff like this, you know, new video content. There's new social media trends. Everything's just changed drastically.
All the stay-at-home moms on TikTok.
It's true. It is true.
There's a lot.
It's almost a cult following.
Hashtag moms of TikTok.
At this point, I'm starting to wonder if they're just quietly plotting against us.
Maybe.
Wives unite. But no, that pretty well answers that question. So I mean, all in all,
what about you? Do you think? So let's kind of delve into. I know we don't have a whole lot of time left. I'm not sure where we're at on our recording, but we got.
We don't keep track.
Yeah, we're not gonna be sticklers about that. But from your viewpoint, the things that you've tried to do in the past or have looked into, what's the biggest stumbling block?
For me, probably the biggest obstacle, so to speak, is kind of vain as it is to say. It's always been like the money.
Yeah.
The money, the finance of it, which shouldn't have been my focus. I think that was my problem starting out. I focused too much on the money aspect of it. You know, what's it going to cost to start it? What's going to cost for what I need? When really, you know, it's John and Brady both give me a hell of a time for coming up with a bunch of ideas in a very short time span. My brain's always going.
Yeah.
But the probably the worst part is I wasn't acting on things just because of that reason. I would get too built up on, this is going to cost entirely too much, and then stop. Where that shouldn't matter.
It does become a fear that your baby will die.
Right. There's a fear, but let's be honest. The odds of it happening are tremendous. I mean, most business owners, I can't remember the exact statistic, but the majority of small businesses when they start up don't make it past their first 5 years. That's fact. That's the way that it goes. There's just too much in the world today.
Wasn't Walt Disney fired from his first cartoon creating job because he wasn't creative enough?
Yeah.
Didn't have enough imagination.
Like Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Look at him now.
Yeah.
Joke's on them.
Yeah.
But no, kind of lost my train of thought there. Start me up again.
I was just seeing what the stumbling blocks were for.
So as far as from money's going, what I really started to focus on later on is, like I said earlier, the knowledge. So doing intensive research and, not gonna lie, kind of obsessing about it.
I've noticed
that's really what goes into it. But that being said, if you watch a lot of interviews of like successful business owners, entrepreneurs, guys like Mark Cuban, that's a big thing that a lot of them touch on is the obsession. The real successful business owners, that's kind of a key theme. You know, you got guys like Steve Jobs, you got Wozniak, you got Bill Gates. That's just, as far as the tech community goes, it's all along the common theme of just being obsessed with what you're doing. And it's true. The more I sit and ponder on it, and the more I've tried doing it with myself, it really makes sense.
Yeah.
Because what you do is you get yourself kind of entwined in something bigger than yourself. You get yourself so defined on what you want to achieve, what you want to do, what you envision as far as the business and everything like that, and it just kind of goes off and running. Kind of like the premise of this show. we really didn't have a whole lot leading up to it. The idea just kind of came, put the notes in.
What was it, like a week later?
Here we are. I don't even think it was a week.
Like 3 days or something like that. And he
Yeah.
said, "Hey, let's start a podcast show thing."
Yeah,
and then we started recording 3 days
slapped
later.
it together. But
Yeah.
that's how I think, a lot of business stuff, in a way, should be like that.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, don't just spontaneous be like, oh, I'm going to up and start a construction company with no tools. It does not work that way. But
And having the right tools to begin with does help.
Help.
We're kind of getting the video thing figured out. I think we
finally
learned
got that
our lesson
down.
from last time.
Well, the worst part is you suggested this like the first time, and I was like, nah.
Yeah.
hence our clerical error on episode 2 you just watched.
Right.
But no, it's that's pretty much what it boils down to. Do your research, gain the knowledge, slowly gather the tools to do it properly, and it goes a lot easier.
And yeah, I feel what you mean on having that obsession. There's been a lot of things that I've obsessed over and kind of gotten flack for like poring over all this information and just wanting to know more and more and more about it, and honestly neglecting some of my other responsibilities along the way, which is not a great thing. But yeah, definitely the drive to learn more about the field that you're looking into, and
the drive to just do it.
Yeah, there will be people that tell you can't. There will be people that say just get a job, and by all means make sure you're financially stable, but still try and pursue those dreams in a responsible way while having that financial responsibility as well. Like, don't go broke trying to do this. Just be smart and get help if you need to. Like, find people that have the knowledge and resources that you need.
Right.
But by all means, try to get it done. Don't wait too long. Don't become just a naysayer, or don't listen to the naysayers and give up before you've even started.
Right. Don't be a naysayer either.
Right. Yeah, that sucks.
But it kind of piggybacks on what we've touched before. The society we live in, at least at this moment, it seems like people are a lot more supportive.
Yeah.
So I would just say don't be afraid. It's if you got an idea of something that you're really wanting to do, or something you're passionate about, something that you obsess about, who's going to stop you? Go ahead and do it. Try it. What's the worst that's going to happen? Someone might tell you no. Someone might not like it. But the crazy part is, for every one person that doesn't like it or tells you otherwise, there could be 5 out there that absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But you got to maintain that mindset.
Yeah.
That's all a part of the research. That's all a part of the obsession. And I think that's what really drives a lot of people. I mean, if you haven't seen him already, look at Grant Cardone. Great example. The guy's level of charisma and confidence is just ungodly. It's out of this world. So he's an entrepreneur, mainly dabbles in real estate investing.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, he's multi-millionaire. He's made gobs and gobs of money.
I think you've talked to me about him before.
He does really, really good. I mean, he's done everything from car sales to real estate. He's more or less a sales guru. But he's really real. That's one thing I like about him. I'm not going to lie, every once in a while it seems like he can be kind of pompous and come off as really cocky, but when you watch...
don't we all?
Yeah, right. When you watch some of his videos, he gets pretty deep as far as, his background, his motivators, what he does, and like he is not afraid to just be straight and to the point about, stop letting other people dictate your decisions, what you're going to do with your life, how your future is going to go. And that was a huge thing for me, kind of hearing that repetitive statement that, stop letting other people dictate what you want to do. It's powerful.
Yeah.
When you finally take control and you're like, I don't care anymore. I don't care if you don't like it. I don't care if you don't like it.
Right.
I'm going to do it because I want to. It's kind of like what we said in episode 0. There could be 2 people that watch this show.
Right.
And we would do it just for the sheer enjoyment.
Yeah, this is fun.
Sitting and having conversation and drinks with friends.
Yeah. Just a taste of conversation.
Just a taste of conversation. But no, that if that kind of answers the question a little bit as far as roadblocks.
Yeah.
I would say biggest obstacles myself, or for most people, the biggest obstacle people will have is with themselves.
Yeah. I would kind of echo that to some extent. I think in my case, a lot of the obstacle would be, okay, so let's take it to motivation. Like my motivation for wanting to start some of these businesses, honestly, is a little bit selfish. That I want to know that I'm capable of doing said thing. And so then you get closer to that point of actually having the knowledge and having the wherewithal to follow through, and then I step back and say I don't want to find out that I'm not capable.
Yeah.
So I want to keep this sense in myself that, yeah, I could do that, sure. And not have that failure.
Right.
So.
Makes sense.
Your own mind can be the biggest obstacle sometimes.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Yeah, it's a really good counter to that. I want to say, I'm pretty sure it's Michael Jordan that said the quote. Correct me if I'm wrong. But there's that old quote that says, you'll always miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Mm-hmm. So true. 100% true. I can't even tell you how many things that I've just simply not done just because I've been afraid or I didn't want to.
Yeah.
And I didn't even try, didn't even give it an attempt. And in retrospect, I think it's a worse feeling to look back on something that you didn't do, knowing that you could have, than doing something and failing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Knowing that you backed down from a challenge that could have rocketed you into the stratosphere is a terrible feeling.
Oh yeah. Well, it's kind of like in terms of an athlete, right? So I used to play basketball, and
really?
It always seemed like, big surprise. Got a joker over here. But like playing basketball, it sucks when you lose. But on the same note, it's kind of a driver. Like, whenever we would lose games, mentally for me, I was like, it sucks. But as soon as I came back to the gym that next day, I'm like, I'm going to train that much harder because I got to be better than the last time. I got to be good enough to beat them the next time. I got to be good enough to beat the next team that's coming up for the next game. And it becomes kind of a mental game. You sit and think about it, and it's like, I'm not going to let that stop me. And you just drive and drive and drive.
I watched that I, Tonya last night.
I, Tonya.
Tonya Harding. You're so for those of you that don't know the Tonya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan story, they were figure skaters back in the 90s. So, but in 1994, Tanya's bodyguard hired some guys to whack Nancy Kerrigan's kneecap.
What?
What? You haven't heard this?
No.
Dude, it was a big story. But anyway, so
when you say whack, you mean like literally like physically whack, or like murder her kneecap?
Like he took one of those extendable batons, those metal things, and whacked her in the knee. Like right after she got done practicing. They were like headed for the Olympics, and like they were going to be competing against each other for gold, and took her out.
It's messed up.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But anyway, like what you were saying about motivation, like Tanya Harding's mom pushed her so hard and made her feel worthless, made her feel like she wasn't good enough, saying that was what motivated Tanya, was having to prove to somebody that she can do it. And granted, the mom took it to a whole new level, according to the movie and according to Tanya herself. Just her mom was a bit of a monster. So,
it's deep.
Yeah, but motivation is different for everybody.
Oh yeah, I know a lot of people personally that, as soon as you tell them they can't do something, or this is something that they're just not able to do, they will prove you wrong in an absolute heartbeat.
Yeah. So find your motivation, find the obsession, and find the means to get it done.
Yeah, I hate to use the Nike slogan here, but I mean, seriously, just do it. Just go out and do it. Throw the fear to the side, really embrace what you want to do. It's okay within reason to obsess about what you want to do.
Definitely.
I think a better term than saying obsess about it is to be passionate.
Yeah.
Be passionate about something that you're really wanting to do. Don't let anything or anyone hold you back. And, I mean, seriously, give it your all. Give it 100%. Because even if you fail, you still have the pride of the fact that you did it.
Don't ruin yourself.
Nobody else can tell you otherwise.
Don't ruin yourself. But be responsible and get it done.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Be competitive. I mean, look at us. Who knows? We could be on Jimmy Kimmel someday. It could happen. Or Jimmy Fallon. Or any other Jimmys that just so happen to have late night talk shows.
I don't like those guys.
Well, we could always have Jay Leno.
Jay Leno. I'd be alright with that.
Not that I wouldn't mind hanging out with Jay Leno and seeing his sweet garage.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But that's a conversation for another episode. So, anything else you have to cap things off, Johnny boy?
No, this was good.
Awesome. Well, I think this is a lot of good content. Definitely, thanks you guys again for watching the episode.
Definitely. Like, comment, subscribe, all the things.
Share all the things.
Share it with your friends.
Absolutely, and please try out Zabuni coffee,
or a local roaster of your own. But yeah, definitely check out Zabuni. I would definitely drink this all day.
Oh, 100%. This might be our new morning ritual.
I'm good with that.
Coffee.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. But no, yeah, thank you everybody. Seriously, we really do appreciate it. Appreciate you kind of being patient with us as we get started throughout this. We're obviously working out the kinks as we go through the episodes.
Yep.
And
yeah, and also if you've got any ideas for things we can try, we've got some ideas in the pipeline, but like raw milk.
Raw milk.
We're gonna do it. It's gonna, and maybe goat's milk too.
Oh.
Now okay, depending on the fat content.
Oh.
So yeah,
that's
if you
have hey, let's have a vote. So down in the comments below, hop in there, go and vote. Cow's milk or goat's milk. You guys pick for us, whatever you decide. That's what we're gonna shoot for.
They're gonna pick goat's milk.
Probably gonna pick goat's milk, but if you want to see raw cow's milk instead, you can always vote for raw cow's milk.
We'll probably do both of them, but
yeah,
we'll see.
Might as well. It's a time for another conversation. But thank you again, guys. Seriously, and this is DJ and John signing off here from another episode of Quips and Sips, and we'll see you on the next episode.